Hello, science scholars. Today we're going to do our plate tectonic lab. If you have the supplies, join in. If you don't, watch what I'm doing. Here we go. Before you begin, please watch the convergent divergent video that is assigned to you so you understand some of the terms. Gather your supplies, and please remember you can improvise if you need to. The supplies say 2 whole graham crackers. If you don't have graham crackers, you can use another type of crackers. If you have the round Ritz crackers or something similar, just cut them in half so that they have flat edges that can meet up with each other. A Rice Krispie treat or something similar in density and flexibility. A cup of water. You don't really need a full cup. I have a Petri dish with some water in it, but you could put some water on a plate or in a bowl. Wax paper, if you're comfortable with just doing it on your surface. Your adult might not be as comfortable with that, but it's great for cleanup. The frosting, and it says a plastic spoon. I'm going to use a plastic knife. You can use something that's not plastic. And once you have your supplies gathered, you're ready to begin. All right, once you have your supplies gathered, you're going to want to spread some frosting out on your wax paper. You want it to be the size of one of your graham crackers and unsplit, and twice the thickness. So here is, again, my graham cracker, splitting it in half. I'm using the nicer edges. So set the crackers down on top of the frosting so that they're touching on the ends. Okay, you're going to push down and pull them apart. This is going to imitate the oceanic crust. So I'm pushing down and apart. Look at what it made there. Now let's take this frosting off and put it back. I'm going to use my crackers to kind of scrape each other off a little bit. This is a little bit of a messy lab, isn't it? I'll spread the frosting back around a little bit with my knife, or if you have a spoon, use your spoon. What kind of frosting do you like? Do you like buttercream? Do you like that whipped cream frosting? I used to love the buttercream when I was younger, but the older I get, the less I like it because it feels like it's too sweet. Thinking about it actually makes my tummy hurt. All right, so now I'm going to set them down again, end to end. Set one down. Put that one down. All right, I'm going to use a paper towel on my fingers real quick. And I'm going to slowly pull them apart without pressing down. This is important. We're not pressing down. We're just pulling apart from the edges. So try your very best to just pull them apart. Do you see the difference? So a rift valley is created. It's a big split in the crust when the continental plates move like this. So you have some questions to answer for part 1. I want you to make sure that you answer those in the lab. It looks like there are 5 questions. And now we're getting ready for part 2, the colliding plates. Part 2. So we're going to take one of the graham crackers that we just used in part 1. We're going to lay it on top of the frosting, which you see I've done here. And then we're going to use a Rice Krispies treat or something similar that is less dense and thicker, and put them so they're almost touching end to end. Almost touching end to end. So this Rice Krispie treat represents the thicker but less dense and lighter continental plate. I'm going to push the 2 plates slowly towards each other and observe which plate rides up over the other. Actually, I want to move them towards the center more so we have some room. So we have some room. So I'm going to push them towards each other. I'm pushing, pushing, pushing. Oh, it takes some effort. Pushing. Maybe you can see what's happening here. Let me turn it so you can see what's happening. On the actual surface of the Earth, the lower plate is subducted, or it goes under or melts under the continental plate. The melting crust adds magma under pressure that pushes upwards through the cracks in the crust called faults to create volcanoes and lava flows on the surface. That's pretty cool, huh? It took some effort. You have some questions for part 2. There are 4 questions for part 2. Please make sure you answer those questions, and let's move on to part 3. Okay, now we're ready for part 3. We're going to break the whole graham cracker in half and then break each in half again so that we have 4 pieces. So let's do that. Here is the graham cracker. I'm going to break it in half. Bam. Break it in half again. Break the other one in half. Ah! It's okay. So now I have 4 pieces. We're only going to use 2 of them for this part, and we're going to save the other 2 for the next part. So each piece of the graham cracker represents a continental plate. We're going to dip one end of each of the 2 graham crackers into the cup of water, about 2 centimeters. So I'm going to dip it into my water. I'm going to show you my water. Here's my water. Here's my ends. So I'm dipping it in the water. And then I'm going to take these off and lay them on the frosting with the wet edges nearly touching. So here's this. Ah, that little piece came off. Okay, pretend that didn't happen. Ah! I may have left it in the water too long. Okay, so they're nearly touching. And we're going to slowly push the 2 crackers together and see what happens where they collide. See if I can get this closer for you to get a look at. Ooh. Do you see that? Isn't that cool? Now I want you to answer the questions, the discussion questions for part 3. There are 4 questions. Okay, we're going to use those last 2 pieces of graham cracker now for the final stage for part 4. Let's lay them down next to each other. There they are. They're laying down next to each other. We're going to put one hand on each of the graham crackers, and we're going to push them together by applying steady, moderate pressure, but at the same time, we're also going to push one of the pieces away from ourselves while we pull the other towards us. If you do this correctly, the cracker should hold while you increase the push-pull pressure. Let's see what happens. So I'm going to push them together, but at the same time, I'm going to push this one that direction, and I'm going to pull this one towards me. There we go. Did you see what just happened there? It broke apart. So now you have questions. You have 3 questions about part 4. And then you need to go and answer the conclusion questions, and there are just 3. I hope you enjoyed this lab. I hope you were able to do it. If you weren't able to do it today along with us, maybe you'll get to do it another day. Thank you for watching.